hey, it switched over and didn't keep playing the music, and everything actually worked for once. Maybe we just needed 3 weeks away. We don't have any technical
I
difficulties,
guess
but
so.
Chris is working. So Chris is going to possibly be joining in audio only in a little bit, guys. But I want to apologize for the lack of podcasts lately. If you guys kind of notice, my background's a little bit different. There's been a lot of changes in my household, from new job to new office situation to just a bunch of different stuff going on. So we haven't been doing podcasts because honestly, I had too much other stuff going on. And honestly, there's not a lot of fishing going on right now. So it's a little harder to talk fishing when you can't go fishing. So, dude, I was going to tell you, I wanted to bring this up on a podcast. Have you ever been part of an actual pressure crack? You ever seen one like in
No,
person? Dude, what
no, and
a
I don't want.
what a puckering moment. Um, a mile offshore.
That's exactly what.
I was closer to the New York side than I was the Vermont side of Champlain, and my shanty moved 3 inches south with me in it.
Jeez. Yeah, I'd be moving as
Um,
many inches north or west or east as I possibly could to get off that lake.
yeah, dude, that was I am pretty brave, and I will preface this with I say I'm pretty brave, but I usually won't fish like something like that. I won't fish by myself. Like I won't go on sketchy ice by myself, especially on Champlain. I can't release the location. I can release the location to you later, but we were targeting lake trout, and we were quite a ways out there. And yeah, I was in the shanty, and all of a sudden I heard what sounded like a gunshot inside my shanty, and the next thing I know, I'm going up and over. It was intimidating.
No, I'd be packing up. I'd be like, nah, I'm done. See ya.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting to say the least. So I just wanted to start the show off with that.
There would have been no pucker factor. The pants.
Dude, it was something. I've never been. I can't say that. I've had days where I fished some ice that I probably shouldn't have been on, but that was a moment where I was like, that like the whole group of us were like, what the fuck was that? Like, and the thing is, we were on 5 inches of ice. I mean, it wasn't like we were on 2 inches. We were on safe-ish ice. But it was definitely slightly intimidating. So, um, I have some news that I can kind of release. It's kind of not giving away too much of the secret. Is we are going to be running the Jigs and Big Slot series. That schedule is going to be hitting very soon. I'm working on
Yep.
finalizing the monthly schedule. So if you guys are interested in doing an online tournament, I highly suggest checking that out. It's a lot of fun because it doesn't require you to catch big fish. It requires you to catch a lot of fish, which is simpler in the scope of things. But I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently this year. I'm actually working in talks with a company. I don't want to release the name. I told Jesse earlier, but I may have some cool prizes for those events. And I'm even thinking about possibly, I got to talk to Bobby about it, but I'm even thinking about doing a ice fishing scavenger hunt series,
Huh.
which might be fun too. So basically, you just have to catch a bunch of different species through the ice. But yeah, I mean, what's been up with you, dude? Anything interesting going on? I mean, obviously, it's a hard time of year to talk fishing, but
I'm just been getting caught up on all that. I just got my boat registered a couple weeks ago. Um, so had to get that done, and luckily I didn't have to pay tax on it because even though it was a new boat, it was a warranted hull. So they were like, okay, we're cool with that. So I just had to pay the registration fee. Let's see what else. Still could never get that damn battery to work that I've been trying to futz with.
Trying to jump. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it won't. We're pretty sure it's like a completely dead BMS on the inside of the battery. And the company is like, oh yeah, well, try this, and this, and they're basically doing everything they can to not have to refund me and not have to send me a new battery. So I basically am just eating the cost of that battery, and they got a wonderful review for it. So
it's what's funny is like batteries suck because they're good until they're not. Especially lithium. Like what sucks about lithium batteries is like at least with lead acid, you kind of knew when they were dying. Like you knew when they were hitting the end of their life because they wouldn't perform as well. It would take longer to charge them. You kind of got some warning signs. Lithium batteries are just like you use them on Friday and Saturday they're dead.
Yep.
Like it's just how they are. It sucks. Like I'm actually going to be possibly doing some more wiring in my kayak because I'm thinking about adding more lights because my new job is going to require some Saturdays. So, but I'm going to be 8 to 12:30. So I'm going to be able to go afternoon fishing. So I'm going to be doing more into the evening every other Saturday. So I want to get some more lights so that I can do more filming and stuff like that. So I might be doing. I have a Switch, so I can
getting. Well, I was thinking what you could do is get like a Guardian Angel Micro Series green light.
I looked at those.
Green light works really good at night. The only downside to the green light is they're really bad with bugs. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
So you'd probably want to go with like an amber or lens type thing.
Yeah, and those are rechargeable, right? They have a rechargeable unit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, so the kayak kit that I ordered actually came with a USB charger for them that you can just plug them all, charge them up, and they last for
so that actually might be better because I have the kayak arm behind me, and I already have a USB port back there for the camera that has 2 ports, so I could just run it right off the charging, and then it would just basically be charging all day while I'm not using it or charge it. I wonder they probably run off the charger anyways when you plug them in. They probably just run straight off they run off the battery, but also charge and run at the same time. A lot of that stuff works like that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if you got a long enough charger charging cord for them, you probably could.
Oh, dude, I have. If you guys see, you can kind of see in the background. See that cabinet with all those cables back there? That's what happens when you're a high level nerd. Is some of those cables are stuff that if you're under the age of 30, you probably never even heard of, like an RCA plug. Old red, white, and yellow plugs from back in the day.
Oh yeah.
There's VGA cables back there.
Cables.
There's coax in there. There's VGA in there. There's cables that are probably worth money at this point. I don't throw much out because I've managed to rewire some crap from old stuff that I've been able to save. But I actually, speaking of wiring, this weekend, so when I went on that Lake Champlain trip, the guys I was fishing with. So I was fishing with, if you guys have followed him on YouTube, Fish Up North was one of the guys I was fishing with, content creator. And then VT2U, who's my buddy Matt. He basically they had forward facing sonar. I think Matt had like an LVS 32, and I don't remember what Tom had, but they had the actual like ice rigs, set up. And it ruined me. It absolutely ruined me. Basically, what happened was I ended up coming home and rigging up forward-facing sonar for the ice because I wasn't going to bring my Garmin out or my Lowrance out. I wasn't going to bring it out. I wasn't going to bring it on the ice. I was like, nope. But, dude, there's something about going out there scanning that thing around and watching a lake trout swirl around your bait and like be able to work them up the column and being able to see halfway up the water column that there's a fish there and get to their level. And dude, we were literally like, I always put too much thought into jigging for trout through the ice. Dude, we were just using paddle tails. It was just a Kitech on a 1/2 ounce swim bait head.
Yeah,
That's it.
and instead of swimming,
and
you
dude,
just
I
popping it up
lost.
and down until they bite it.
You literally just leave it there until they swim in. When you see them swim in, you get at their level. You bounce it a couple of times, you get their interest, and then you just slowly work it up, and they'll chase it up and hit it, dude. It's. I get the video game fishing more after seeing that happen because I would never have known those fish were there any other way through the ice. But I immediately came home and I actually went on Amazon and ordered another power cable for my fish finder. And I actually rigged up a PVC mount for my, hold on, I'll show you. So that's literally my kayak arm that I threw PVC on so that I can just set it on the hole so I don't have to like redo it all. I bought one of these. I needed one of these anyways, but I bought a cover to protect it when I'm on the water. But literally I went from I'm not going to use forward-facing sonar through the ice to rigging it up in 3 days. So be on the lookout for that video because I'm going out this weekend.
Speaking of, you got any advice for old redneck farmer there?
Where's your derby at? Is it in a big body of water, small body of water? It depends on what you're going for too, for species as well, because some ice derbies are specific to species like pike, and some are the biggest of any species.
I wonder if he's pike derby up in Magog that they do every year.
Well, so the reason I'm asking is because if he's talking about, there is a derby on Bombazine this weekend too. I don't know if he's local to us or not, but because there's a okay. Are you doing the Bombazine derby? So he was out on that when I went out. I think I told you about that, Jesse, when I went out and caught that one rainbow. Dude, I fished 8 hours and caught one rainbow all day, but it was
at least you got something.
So if you're doing that Bombazine derby, the one thing I'm gonna suggest, there's gonna be a metric shit ton of people. So Float Bridge is going to be absolutely packed. And in my opinion, and I don't do a lot of ice derbies, mostly because they end up becoming kill tournaments, but pike is going to be one of the species that's going to be easier to target simply because they bite more. But try to get outside of the crowd. Don't fish just because everybody's in a big circle. Don't necessarily fish miles away from them, but fish on the outside edge. So what I like to do when I ice fish, if I come, like, for example, when I go to Champlain Bridge, it's like a fucking city when you get in there. It is insane. But the thing is, if you find, there'll always be a pocket just north of Green Dump. So yeah, so you're going to be a little bit less crowded. There will be a lot of people coming out of Green Dump. I don't know where they're doing the weigh-in. Are they doing the weigh-in at the beach? I'm assuming that's where they're doing it. The thing is get on the outside edge of where the crowd is and find yourself an area. And I highly recommend, and this is not a sponsor, it's just a site I use, Omnia Pro. If you don't have it, pay for it. It's $50 for a year, and you get discounts and stuff when you buy stuff. But the reason why I suggest it is because Omnia Pro has a bunch of map layers. It's got CMAP built in, but it's got a CMAP bottom hardness, vegetation, and depth chart. And what's nice about that is you're able to go find areas. And what I recommend looking for is, in my experience this year, all the pike I've caught have been like between 10 and 12 feet of water. But if you can find a grass edge where there's contour lines close together. So I'll actually see if I can find and just like look at like this isn't necessarily bombazine. I'm just going to show you guys what I mean by contour lines.
So you're basically in search for drop-offs right on the edge of grass lines.
So what you want to find is you want to find a place where fish, so like I'm trying to think about the easiest way to word this. I just look up like bombazine. So what you're looking for is when you're looking at a depth chart map, I'm just trying to see if I can find one that's like decent, but all these are like awful.
Oh, Michael.
I'm telling you, dude, sometimes you click on these things and they're like the worst. So yeah. So we'll even do this. We'll just do this. You know what? Let's have fun time. Eye boating. All right, guys. So if you can see this, check this out. Fancy, right? All right. So this down here.
That's high speed right there.
This is the green dump launch. So what I mean is, if you see, I'm going to zoom way in. See how there's a lot of lines right here? That means that's going like this. So you got 25 feet up here, all the way down to 7 feet. Now, I've fished this area, so I know it pretty well. When you're talking this, it's literally a ledge. It's literally from the bank, and it just drops, right? You're looking for stuff like, and Jesse's going to know exactly what I'm talking about when I get to it and this stupid box gets out of my way. You're looking for stuff like this. You're looking for things that come to a point, because what this is it's a hump and it's a corridor. So your fish are going to run along this. They're going to pick a depth that they like, and they're going to run up and down these lines. And the beauty of it is, when they want to go get food, a lot of times they are going to come shallow, because you will get like perch. Most panfish are going to lay right on the bottom. So ultimately, you're going to find little places. And what I look for is like, and I don't know how to explain it other than it looks like kind of like a triangle. So you see, like when you look at this, you can kind of see it almost. The way the lines are, it looks like it waves. Mm-hmm. And what this creates is it creates a huge area of different depths. And what happens is fish, when they get uncomfortable, either they're moody or whatever, they don't want to have to travel a long ways to go up and down in the water column. And something like this, all they have to do is swim a little bit one way or another way, and they're literally going up and down in the water column to the comfort level that they're at. A lot of the times with this kind of stuff right here, you also get a lot more rock piles, boulders. There's something about how those kind of contours come together. Maybe I'm just delusional, but I feel like anytime you find stuff like this, you also tend to find more big boulders and ledges and rock piles and stuff that creates habitat. Because in the wintertime, there is grass, but not nearly as much as the summertime. So fish are relating more to big rock piles and harder bottom, things like that is what they're really clinging to. So you want to look for something. And the best thing you can do is, if you have access to it, if you know there's grass, find a grass edge and set up just outside of it. And it's not much different than summertime fishing. A lot of people put too much thought into ice fishing and thinking that their spots need to be entirely different with their logic than summertime fishing. But Jesse, who doesn't ice fish, if you were going to go target multiple species for a derby, What are you going to look for structure?
I'm definitely staying along those hard edges. I mean, you're going to want to find those transitions. So you're going to have your line that's going to come up to, hard bottom, places where the fish ambush from. I mean, just because it's winter, you're not going to look at it any different, except in the fact that the fish are just moving a lot slower. They're still going to set up the same as far as, yep. The setup is going to be the same. They're going to ambush from weed lines. Yeah, they're not going to want to move as far unless you can actively trigger them to bite, which is hard to do when you don't have anywhere to go except up and down.
So, and that's where, so like, for example, Limousines boat
right.
Good.
Yep. So I would go out to the edge of that, what is that, between 9 and 12. And then I would probably set up anywhere going from there out to about 25.
Yep. So I would do a very similar thing. So either this side right here or this side up here. You see how these are very similar?
Yep. Or you could run, you could run several holes and throughout the day, whichever hole is producing the most, then adjust your holes based upon that depth that's at.
Yeah. So the first thing I do when I set up tip ups too, this is something that I think a lot of guys make the mistake of, and it's very similar to open water fishing too, is this is what guys do. They'll go out here and they'll set up at 9 and they'll run tip up, tip up, tip up, tip up. You see it all the time. You go out in the lake and look, and there's 5 tip ups in a row. But guess what? You're fishing the same fucking spot. So if you're in open water and you were in a boat, are you going to sit there and cast at the same spot for 8 hours straight? You're not.
Nope.
You're going to move around.
Hell no.
Now, here's the difference. Ice fishing, you're not casting. You're drilling a hole. So your lines are static and they're staying there. So if I was to set up here, I would get my map chart out. And that's why I like Omnia, because it allows you to walk around and you can actually mark waypoints and see all this stuff on your phone. You don't have to have a fish finder. You don't have to have, and you can do this with, there's Navionics. There's a bunch of different apps. I just like Omnia because it's $50 and it gives you free shipping on stuff you buy from them. So it's, at the end of the day, you pretty much pay it off with a couple of orders. I would set up somewhere like this. And the reason I recommend that is because with that particular derby, you've got a pike category. You've got, I believe there's a trout category. There's a bass category. So with this situation, you could set up a tip up in this 5-foot stuff for those pike, because pike are going to run shallow. They're pretty much always going to stay shallow. Pike, you're not going to find pike in 40 feet of water. And if you do, it's weird. And if you do find a pike in 40 feet of water, he's probably right below the ice anyways. They don't like deep water. It's just not how they operate. They like ambushing. And they like laying on the bottom. And literally, you probably don't even know how many times you've gone over a grass patch and there's been a pike laying there. Because I know Jesse's seen this, and I've definitely seen it, where you look down and you're like, oh, that's a weird looking log. And then the log swims away because they just love to lay on the bottom, camouflage themselves, and lash out at whatever's in front of them. So, you'll get big pike. The beauty of an area like this is you have an advantage of, okay, I put one tip up on this 5-foot stuff. I would put one tip up like in this kind of general area in between this. So you have like a 3-foot drop off right here is what you're looking at. And from here, it's a 5-foot drop off. So you get something that's in between, right in the middle. So you're kind of covering all of that. I always stuff one out deep, just because sometimes you can do that and find luck. And then I don't set up my first. So you get 8 tip ups. And if you're jigging, then that's 7. I set up 5 to start every time. And the reason I do that is because I set 5 in varying places. And then when I find one that's going off or one that seems to have more activity, then I add my 6th one on that same area. So like if you're setting up, say you got a fish that you catch in 12 feet. If I've got a tip up right here, I'm going to go down to here and set it right here. That way it's on the same line. It's a little bit shallower, but it's on that same kind of ledge where they could go up or down it.
Yeah.
Because the thing about same contour, because these fish are not, they're suspending, but essentially what the most of the time with ice fishing, what they're doing is that fish is going from 13 to 13 to 13 to 13. Now he's not doing it every 5 minutes. It's every couple of hours. He's slowly meandering his way up here. And then he's slowly meandering his way down here. And then when he comes by that tip up you just put down and he goes, "Ooh, look, a shiner. Cool. I'm going to eat that." And that's when you get to flag. Bass specifically, and I can't speak to a lot of species, but I know bass biology. Bass in the wintertime can go 2 days without eating. Their metabolism shuts way down. So they have to eat at some point. Unfortunately, you could hit a window where all the bass in that area are there, but they're not eating. Another thing you can do is if you do have a fish finder, even if it's just a stock Garmin Striker 4, turn it on flasher mode, drop it on the top of the hole, and just see if you see any stuff moving around. Because if there's bait fish, like if you're jigging and you're catching perch, guess what? If there's perch there, there's smallmouth there, there's pike there, there's probably largemouth there, and there might be browns there. Browns are a little different species, and they're very nomadic, but if you can find a school of bait fish that you're catching, catch them, and if you find that your shiners aren't going off, take an EWG hook and stab it through one of them perch and throw one of them perch down. Because guess what? That's what they're eating. Especially in our lakes. And you're talking to somebody who's mid-state in northeast state. Perch is number one forage. But if you can get a bluegill or something different, sometimes that works too. But overall, you want to find different contours. And this is not, I think guys overcomplicate ice fishing because they think, oh, the fish are deep because it's winter. Guys, guess what? I'm going to give you some information. It's going to shatter your brain. There's no fucking thermocline in the wintertime. Everybody's like, oh, well, the trout are deep. No, they're not. The trout are deep in the summertime because they don't like warm water. Guess what? The water temperature from the bottom of that ice to the bottom of that lake is 30 degrees. And it's not changing because there's no thermocline. So that's the thing about wintertime is that that's why you get these guys that are catching Lakers, browns, salmon in places that are 30 feet of water, because those fish can be up close to the ice because they don't care about temperature as much because the water is exactly the same temperature. So, but yeah, my it depends on what you have for electronics, but my overall advice is find a place. Like, example, if you like fishing deep, this is something, and Jesse would agree, like if you see something like this, you've got everything from 39 to 21 in a single area. The more different depths that you can find in a small area, the better off you are, because you're able to cover the gamut. You're able to put something in 6 feet and 10 feet and 12 feet and 5 feet and not have to have 75 tip ups out to cover that. If the shallow water, in my opinion, and this is where it depends on your setups, I don't fish much over 30 feet ever. And when I'm going specifically for like pike or bass, I don't get much over 15 feet because they don't really have any reason to be out in this like 50 feet. Because again, the water's all the same temperature. So they don't really care. And at the end of the day, most panfish live near the bank. And they eat crawdads and crap. So they're just trying to scour the bottom looking for any type of crustacean, grub, insect larvae, anything that they can find. So I don't know if that helps or confuses you more, but ultimately the biggest thing you can do with ice fishing specifically is find some mapping that you trust. And also, this is a map that I have no idea how long ago it was updated. And all of our lakes, and I know Jesse can tell you this because I fished some of his lakes this summer, are all way fucking low. Way low. Like
They were.
There's lakes that
I tell you what, I think things are going to change after this winter because, you know, with the amount of snow we've gotten recently, I think we're definitely going to fill some coffers back up.
They're definitely going to fill back up. But the thing is, before they froze, they were all down 3 feet minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these contour lines, you have to take into consideration that they're not where they were. Because I can tell you, I was sitting in a spot on Lake Champlain, undisclosed location, that my mapping said it was 35 feet. And guess what? It was 4 of these. So I'm basically 6 foot. So it was 6 feet different between what the mapping was telling me and what I was putting down the line. So, and that's Champlain. And when Champlain is low, then everything's low because Champlain is the recipient of every other freaking body of water because at some point, everything flows down to Champlain. It's just, there's so many tributaries and rivers, and like if that place is low, then everything else is extremely low. So, but it's definitely, and that's honestly, I mean, as a general rule, like trying to include Jesse who doesn't ice fish in the conversation, like think about like where would you target fish in the spring? If you're gonna go open water fishing, as soon as the ice melts, where are you gonna go? Because guess what, guys? Those fish didn't just teleport to the spawning beds. Those fish were there. The fish may have been a little bit deeper. They may have been a little bit further away. But at the end of the day, where you catch those fish in the spawn is pretty much where they are during the ice. They didn't go from, you know, this is a huge lake. They didn't swim from up here down to here to spawn. If anything, they might be out here and then they come in to spawn, but they're not covering miles of a lake to go get ready to be shallow. They're in the same general vicinity. That's actually one of the reasons I started ice fishing as seriously as I did, is because what I learned was in a lot of bodies of water, when I find a school of fish or common areas that I catch fish through the ice, when it comes time for spring, and I go through those areas with my kayak, guess what I see? Bed here, bed there. All this stuff is ultimately becomes a scouting run. So you can use ice fishing as a scouting run for, you know, summertime fishing.
I mean, larger bodies of water, that probably works, right? But if you were to bring that back up, smaller bodies of water, they're going to be in a much simpler places. If you want to bring that back
absolutely.
Up to the north where your inflow is. Yeah, scroll up to the north.
So, hey, there he is.
So basically, wherever your inlets are, they're going to be.
Yeah, so up here you've got, so this is Float Bridge side. Hi, Chris.
What's going on, John? Everybody?
Yep, float. So Float Bridge.
So you can give some
Float Bridge, and then right there
in
where that point is. For this. So come down a little bit below the float foot, that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would really target right in that between 10, 14, and 18, like right in there. Because they're going to be waiting for stuff to come down from there.
You want to know what's funny,
but
guys?
That's me. That's after ice out.
So right here, there's a bluff wall right here, guys. And this is all grass. So that's what I mean by when you learn how to study maps. Jesse's never fished here. It's like he doesn't know this lake at all, but he's telling you an area that I've caught largemouth and smallmouth and pike just based on what you see here. So once you learn what these little squiggles mean,
That's where
so Chris, you can't really see it, but we're essentially showing a depth chart of float bridge. And once you learn what a depth chart actually means, you can kind of target fish specifically. But
yeah, I gotta go. I gotta download the Garmin app and some of these lakes around me because I'm Eden and see if I can't get a 6 or 7 smallie out of there.
Eden, maybe.
Yep.
You think you can get one out of Eden?
That's what I said. I want to see if I can. I don't know if there even is gonna be one in there, but
There's no. Don't get me wrong. The guys were just up there.
there's probably a higher chance. Yeah.
That place has got. I need to fish that.
Yeah.
We should fish that this summer. Actually, we should make a plan to fish that this summer.
You're glitching out on me.
Because, yeah, hold on. Let me stop this share. I think this share is breaking some stuff.
Breaking it.
All right. Can you hear me better now? Is it coming back?
Yeah, I've got. So this year I've got. Still not hearing nothing.
Weird.
Maybe it's on my end.
Maybe. Chris, can you hear me?
I hear you both. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
I was wondering if it was me breaking it, but I'm hearing you both.
No, I was kind of curious if it was you or not, but it might be
don't
on
think
my
so.
end.
Because we've got some snow coming in right now.
Oh,
But anyways, yeah, this year I'm looking to focus on some newer areas. Like, I mean, obviously my main spots, but it's not going to be too much covers where all my hot spots are, and I gotta end my locations.
doesn't help that any asshole YouTubers have started filming some of the places that you fish, so people might notice the background. Even though I don't say where I am.
No, there's still
Yeah.
one place that I haven't told anybody about, and I'm keeping that one to myself because that one's got a few donkeys in there.
I wouldn't, dude. I've never open water fished Eden. I'd fish that with you. I'll come up and fish that with you, for sure.
Heck yeah! Let's see if we can get Brad up there.
There was actually talk about. Well, so there was talk about. So Kent has his brother. I think it's a brother or brother-in-law has a cabin on Eden.
Yep.
And
Maybe
they were talking in.
You and I can do Eligo too. I've been on Eligo and I got.
Yeah, see, I've never fished up there because I know Kent was talking about doing Stillman and Sons pro staff guys. They were all talking about renting Kent's brother's cabin, and it's literally right on the lake. Like literally, if we rented that cabin, you can like pull your kayak up on shore and then go get a snack and then run back down to your kayak and go fish. Like it's right fucking there. So has water access and dock and everything. So we could definitely make something happen there.
Yep. Mikey, so KBF kicks off. Basically, I sign up April 1st and then wait until I get clear water, which is by the second or third week in April. And then
It's that late.
the Bass, New Hampshire Tri-State Trail, that kicks off on April 18th on Hoppington Lake.
Okay. I'll be doing
And
monthlies
after
by
that,
then because
Yep.
okay. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of a delay, guys, so I apologize for any of that. But yeah, no, I'm gonna be doing monthlies. I'm gonna be running New England based monthlies. I'm gonna try to get Jesse to team up with me on that. More details to come, but it's gonna be a team trail and it's gonna be specifically New England lakes. It's gonna be a best of 5. But that's gonna be I'm gonna be running that through Jigs and Bigs. So it's gonna be basically you and a teammate, your best of 5 throughout the whole month. Is the gist of it.
Nice.
So what's cool is you don't have to be with your teammate. Like your teammate can be in fucking Maine and you can be in Vermont and you guys can still fish and compete. It's a little bit of a different turn.
Really? You're going to leave me hanging like that? Leo.
Scott Vermonter's hanging out with us. I haven't seen Scott in a little bit. He might have been in the chat and I missed him. So, dude, I'm gonna be doing less tournaments this year. Unfortunately, I was gonna do a bunch of Adirondack KBF stuff, but I'm gonna be working on Saturday. So,
And I have to do some of the Bass Nation stuff.
Chris, I want to try. Me and you need to make a commitment to, if I have the Saturday off, doing either a New York or a New Hampshire team event.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I think we should try to get ourselves into one or the other.
I got to come up and fish some Champlain with you guys, Chris's area.
Anytime.
Well, don't you have a you have a Bombazine one, right? Or is it St. Catherine? I feel like it was one of the ones around here.
And I am going to be able to do the St. Catherine.
Okay.
I will be doing the St. Catherine one.
Let me know. Obviously, I don't want you to break, information rules or anything, but whenever you can safely fish it, let me know. And dude, I'll plan on linking up with you during that practice window and go fish with you. I don't know what the rules are in information sharing. I don't know if
as
you can
it
fish
looks
with
right
someone
now,
or
the
not,
off-rate
but-
is based upon what I understand of the information rule is you can share information with anglers that are actually participating in it.
Okay.
But the official off limits period is like the Tuesday before each.
Okay.
So from then up to Saturday, and then the tournament is Saturday. But anytime prior to that, you can practice, which is going to be hard if you get down to Hoppington like the week beforehand. I'm going to have to go that weekend before, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to do. So Hoppington may just be one of those. Hey, I'm going to drop in here and hope for the best.
Yeah. When you come down to practice Bombazine, is it so it's literally the week before? Is you can fish it right up until they must blacklist it from that point until the tournament? Is that how it works? So like the Tuesday before? Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, it's the Tuesday beforehand.
Gotcha. Well, say, dude, if you want to come down, just let me know, dude. I mean, I have a spare bedroom. You could fucking crash at my place and just fish it so you can stay local and not have to like drive all the way home, So let me know. Because it's Bombazines.
Yeah, I'd love to come
depending
down,
on what you're trying to fish, Floper, it's only 30 minutes.
A month or two beforehand and just Yep.
When is that? What month is that in?
I mean, that's beginning of August, so it's the second last one before the Tournament of Champions.
Okay. Yeah, no, because by then I should even have my boat running. So you could even come down and just jump in the boat with me, and then we could run around and you could get more view of more stuff quicker. So.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, my plan for beginning of August, I'd probably be frogging and punching the whole time, anyways. So.
You'd be surprised, dude, because the problem with Bombazine is they go deep in the fall. So you'll find that there is a frogging and punching
Yeah, but
bite.
that's in the fall has.
Yeah, but that you're forgetting that Bombazine's a hay meadow in the north end of it. Like that northern part of like that.
Meadow.
So yeah, so dude, so this area right here, you can't get a boat through.
There's like one little.
That's okay. I'll be in the
goes
kayak.
all the way back.
Yeah, no, you literally could almost walk on water in here. It's insanely
Fine,
thick.
because
Like,
I know those fish are going to be underneath there.
Yeah, it's this area right here. This whole section of the lake, like you can't, like in here, you can't even put you couldn't even put a motor in there. You'd be paddling. You'd literally jam your motor up so bad you can't go more than 3 feet. Now you can punch it. I have punched up into like here and caught fish. The problem is this area right here is probably also the most fished section of that lake, and there's a Wednesday nighter every single week on Bombazine that they beat the shit out of this area. But no, there's definitely there's a frog bite. Honestly, one of the most effective baits on Bombazine is a chatterbait. So you're going to be fine there because chatterbait is a very effective.
Good thing I'm got.
Yeah, chatterbait's an effective bait on that lake. It is really effective. Though then you got Chris that probably caught all his fish on a Ned rig. So
yeah, in the fall tournament, that's what we couldn't locate anything. I had a good chatterbait bite when I pre-fished it, but they were all little fish. So the only good fish we got was on a Ned, but we went down there and bombed anyway. Now, then we went back in the spring and we did really well, but again, that was live scope without a live scope fish.
Yeah.
So every fish I put on the board, I saw eat my bait. So
yeah, they're weird because of the pressure, because it gets so hit hard. Like you have to be. Like you'll catch, what's weird is like you'll catch smallies on like half-ounce flipping jigs.
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of, you know what I mean? Like it actually, it fishes similar to your home lake, but with more deep water access. Has a very similar mentality of fish like that. It's because like there's entire grass flats that are like 6 feet of grass and 3 feet of water. So you have that submergent grass with that layer on top that, you know, that you can do a lot of stuff with. Like I was even catching fish in August last year with a jerk bait just over top of the grass, like a suspended jerk bait, just not letting it get down into the grass and just popping it along the tops of the grass and stuff. And like, as long you just gotta, it's like we said earlier, they have a place to hide. If they have a place to hide, they're gonna feel comfortable, and that's where they're gonna eat. That
was one thing I noticed at Guntersville
so
when I
slot
was
tournaments.
doing.
Sorry, go ahead. Just you go.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I was gonna say real quick. So Brody, the slot tournaments will be on Fishing Chaos. They're gonna be every month, just like they were last year. I'm working on the dates. I honestly was delaying because I'm gonna be working Saturdays, so I'm trying to figure out what Saturdays I'm working if I can between now and the end of the month. But my goal is to have all the slot tournaments on Fishing Chaos by the end of March, so that you guys will have the entire year worth of tournaments sitting there, and you'll know what weekends are going to be for the whole year. So
what I was gonna say was, when I was fishing Guntersville, I was running chatterbaits over the top of the hydrilla. I actually saw a couple of fish come out of the freaking mat to chase after my bait, and that's when I was like, okay, I know they're in the hydrilla, so now I can go in after them and get it. So that's when I started, transitioning over to the punching, and that's what I, did as good as I did.
Yep. Yeah, dude. So like chatterbait bite specifically, what's crazy is when you see your chatterbait come out of the water because they hit it, like you'll actually see fish like shoot straight up out of that grass at them, and they'll end up like knocking slack in your line and missing the bait because they hit it from behind. Like it's crazy when you go over even like a super clear fishery like Bombazine, you don't realize how many fish are just laying in that grass that you don't even see. Like they're good at hiding in that shit. Like I've gone over fish and then gone back and then been like, holy shit, that wasn't a rock. That was a freaking largemouth just laying there. Like, their entire existence is just
There's a lot of them that'll zoom out from under. Yeah, and there's a lot of them that'll zip out from under you, but there's also a lot sit there and wait for you to go right over them, and they're like, yeah, nothing.
Yep.
They turn around and swim the other way.
Yep. Yeah, no, you'll see a lot of that, like especially heavily pressured lakes.
Yeah, the lake up by Jesse's Lake that we fished this year. That one, you'd go right by a 20-incher and he'd look right at you, and then he would just slither away and he would not turn. He wouldn't look, and no matter what you threw at him, he didn't care.
Yeah, they'll just ignore you. Yeah, wholesale.
That's exactly how. That's exactly Echo Lake plays. If they see you, you can, and they are still not gonna.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get them.
I dunked a smallmouth in the head with a Ned rig on Echo, and it didn't even move. Literally, right next to the kayak, dropped it down, tunk, and it didn't run, didn't hide. It just like, nah, I don't give a shit that you're here. It's good. Problem with Echo is they can see you for fucking. They already knew you were coming before you got there. That water is fucking that one in Seymour is so clear.
I'm positive that 60-foot is easy.
Yeah.
Fish that properly, you need 8-foot freaking rod, and you gotta send it.
I bet you if you took this label, set this on the bottom of the lake, I bet in 8 feet of water, you could set this on the bottom and read the label. That's how clear that fucking water is. It is insane.
Yep.
It's some of the clearest water I've ever fished, and it's the most frustrating body of water I've ever fished.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did see that one, that new chatterbait that's or attachment that basically turns a swim jig into a chatterbait.
No,
it's like a chatter blade on the tail.
I'll have to go look at that. You telling me my boy Mikey didn't give me the heads up on that? What the hell?
He did not. He just put it out like 2 days ago. It's pretty freaking. It's like a harness that's attached to a blade, and hide the bait, and then put the hook through the harness. So it fishes a lot like a regular paddle tail, but because it's a metal tail, it thumps harder. So it thumps like a chatterbait, but you're pulling backwards almost.
Okay. I'll have to check that out because Gambler makes some sneaky
You're gonna be like,
stuff.
what the hell? What?
Oh yeah, Easy Shaker. Okay, I see. I'm technically pro staff for Gambler. But no, I literally am. I just I'm like honorary through Mikey. I don't know if my code still works, but I see what you mean. That is,
tell you
that is
what,
weird.
they got some nice looking baits, isn't it?
Hold on, guys.
Gonna have a lot of people trying a lot of new tech this year.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
blade is actually a harness, or is attached to a harness.
Got it.
And you shove it up through the hook, the swim jig hook or swim bait you want in there, and put the hook through the
Huh. Okay.
Like I said, it swims very well, but it thumps a lot harder. So I wouldn't be surprised if quite a few people start throwing that this year.
That has Spawn written all over it too.
Yeah.
Piss off the, you know what I mean? You piss those fish off.
That probably would go on.
Oh, absolutely. Like you get that. So you use that in the Spawn. You throw like a bluegill colored around beds. You wouldn't even need to like retrieve it. You just like yo-yo it just to get that thump, just to get them enough pissed off around the beds and stuff.
You go piss them. You piss them off so bad.
That's going to be sneaky. Because that's what I mean. That's what I do a lot of times in the Spawn, anyways. Is if you figure out where the beds are, all you got to do is basically another bait that works really good for that is the G crack, like the bellows gill. You flip those on a bed when they're in the Spawn. Those things are dirty because they.
I haven't ordered any of those.
Flux gill, cool. By the way, I like them. You should look at a few of those too while you're ordering the G cracks. They just cost me money because I might have to pick up some of these. Yeah, so Berkley made their own version of basically the bellows gill, but it's the Berkley flux gill. It has the honeycomb on the front of it, and then it's shaped similar to
that. Yeah.
But they accent in them too. So on top of it, they don't smell like Fritos, which is unfortunate because those G cracks almost smell good enough to eat. But
yeah, tell me about it.
Probably one of the best smelling.
Well, I guess I won't be looking that up. Tackle Warehouse is going through its freaking feed.
Yeah.
They just put up 25. Yeah, they just put up the 25% off sale, spring sale, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, it's because probably Tactical Basket probably finished their Buyer's Guide series or whatever, right?
Yeah, they're so trying to like look online at it, and it's saying, "Oh, sorry, service unavailable right now to too much for activity," and I'm like, "Oh, imagine that."
Yeah, exactly. Scott from Honor, what colors did you get for the flux gills that you bought? Pit Boss on a chatterbait. Yeah, I've used the. I'm not gonna lie, the Pit Boss is kind of a sneaky trailer for a lot of things. The Berkley Pit Boss on a chatterbait. Sometimes I find though that has a tendency to cause the bait to wash out too much because it's got too many appendages. But I have used the Pit Boss. I use the Pit Boss actually on a jig head too. A lot. I actually have a Pit Boss mold Another bait that's sneaky is if you guys are not familiar with Fresh Baits, they make a beetle. And it's very similar to Pit Boss, but it's got a little bit softer material. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Michael Bradley asked horizontal or vertical, because that's something that guys don't think about when they rig chatterbaits. Is like you can do it both ways. You can make it swim like a craw, but you can take like a craw style trailer, rig it vertical, and you get that like almost looks like a tail of a bluegill effect when you rig stuff vertically like that.
It also allows the chatterbait to work harder.
Right. Because I also will flip a paddle tail upside down so that it will force it down so it won't ride up as bad. Because when the paddle tail pulls down and the blade's pulling up, it kind of like creates like a spiky kind of swim too.
Yeah, I just go with a pintail. Usually one of the spunk shads. No, wait, I get
Spunk shads.
running a different chat.
Spunk shads or honestly freeloader. That freeloader is pretty solid on a chatterbait.
Boss on a Ned rig.
Crush City.
I'll have to try that one out.
Pit Boss on a Ned rig? What size head are you using for that thing? Because there's depending on this head, depending on if it's an EWG Ned, maybe, but yeah, he's using you got just a point coming out. That would be interesting. I never would have thought to put. I mean, I guess it makes sense if you got a bigger hook. If you're using a small Ned rig, I don't know if the hook would even go through the plastic on a Pit Boss. That Pit Boss is pretty thick. You'd have to like rig it shallow.
I have the Pit Bosses come in a smaller size.
There is two. I think there is more than one size. Berkley Pit Boss.
I feel like if they made like a 2-inch Pit Boss, that would be pretty dope on a freaking net.
Dude, they make a 3, a 4, and a 5-inch. Apparently, a 3-inch. Dude, I didn't know that they made a 3-inch. I've always just used the 4-inch.
Yeah,
3-inch would be interesting. Huh. Dude, I didn't even know they. Why did I not know they made a 3?
Now you got something to try out.
Dude, I can't spend any money right now though. I just changed fucking jobs and I'm gonna be pouring my own shit for this year.
I know, dude. You got to save up for that freaking trolling motor.
Yeah, I do. I gotta get the boat fixed first. That's unfortunately the money to fix the boat want to pay off a credit card. So that money's gone.
Yep.
But I'm hoping to have that. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make Chris be my chauffeur and take me out on Champlain and then I don't have to fix mine. So
I'll drive to.
yeah, I don't need a trolling motor if I just take.
You know, you could rig your native to. You could rig your native to take that recon. Then you'll be fucking cruising.
That'd be interesting. That'd be fucking interesting. That would take some redneck engineering.
And then whenever you got your... Yeah, not really. I mounted it on my Blue Sky.
How long is the shaft on that?
Let's see. I think it's I want to say it's a 48.
That might pull my kayak under the water
it's
when it's
pretty decent size.
My luck, that thing would start like sucking my motor and start sucking my kayak under the water.
Actually, the problem would be how much it weighs, probably. And those aren't light.
Scott, I am getting down there
It's
this year.
heavy. It's heavy, but it's not that heavy. Like I said, I mean, so freaking native. You still got the Slayer.
Titan, yeah. I have the Titan until
his
Old Town calls
Titan X
me
would
and
be able
wants to
to handle
sponsor me.
that, no problem.
As soon as Old Town wants to send me a Pro, I'll get rid of it. But other than that, I'm not gonna lie. If I find somebody that will
Pros
buy
going for right now, I haven't even
like
looked at them.
35. I think they're like 35 something.
Get the Pro.
Really? You'd be better off Jet.
The Pro EPL
Nah,
is
that Flux Jet's tiny.
The Pro EPL is for 4,500, I think.
For the EPDL, that's actually not bad.
Yeah.
The Flux Jet's only like 9 feet.
The autopilot might be that too.
Oh, it might be, yeah. Yeah, the Flux Jet. I've been talking to Dave from Wolf of Walmart. He's been working. He works with Flux Jet. Dude, that kayak's only like 30 inches wide. It's narrow as fuck.
It moves.
And
yeah, I did see that when I was watching the video. I like the concept, that I would definitely like to see them put that here on a bigger hull. But I think it's probably hull for a smaller person.
I wouldn't be surprised. What can I say? Let's just say I wouldn't be surprised if there's other designs in place. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That the guy, the Flux Jet brand is going to be
Speaking
a brand.
Yep. Yeah, and there's a lot, there's lots of new designs that are spreading in the next couple of years. And speaking on the Jet, I know that there is a new design, and I can't say anything, but say that this stagnation is probably ending on Jackson's lines.
Gotcha. Yeah, to be honest, dude, if I could go back and do it again, I probably would have just got the Old Town Pro, just because it has all the things that I bought the Native because of. And if I could get someone to pay enough for my kayak that I could justify then investing that money into an Old Town, I probably would do it. But I like the Old Town drive better.
There's a lot of people
I just do. And dude, that fucking drive is.
I would say right now
it's hard to beat it.
It is, and I would say right now that the Old Towns are probably running the same popularity as the new.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it's also cost.
When I went down to the National, there were, I would say there was probably about 40 or 50 people that were in Old Towns, and probably the same amount that were running new canoes. And then of course you had a few Jacksons and some Hobies and stuff, but other than that, yeah, it's pretty much all Old Towns. And I think Casey Reed still runs Old Town.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Yeah, the thing is, like, they're stable as shit. They're so stable.
I like the decks on them. They're so solid.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you and I both know that drive is for a pedal drive. If you want an actual propeller, I think there's no drive even close.
I haven't used the Hobie, so I can't speak for Hobie, but
Old
Town's drive I've used Feel Free, I've used Native, I've used Old Town. Trying to think if I've been in. Does Bonafide even have a pedal drive?
Yeah, they have that worm drive, right?
Right.
Yeah, they do.
Right. Okay. I haven't used one of those, but the amount of hours that I put in a kayak, if the drive lasts as long as my Old Town drive that's sitting in that closet behind me right now and it's ready to go if I needed to fish out of it, is as much information as you need. I have thousands of hours on that fucking drive, and I have done nothing but replace a prop that I broke, and that was completely my fault. My Native, I've torn down 7 fucking times and had to re-grease it.
Ugh.
So, yeah. And it's because it starts to get like not happy.
And it's 1 year old.
It's not even a year. It's now, right now, it's fully a year old. Because I bought it last year at the fucking trade show at this time.
My Old Town is a 2018. I bought it in. I bought it. It was a holdover. I bought it like the winter of 1920. And
Yep, me too.
I sheared my actual drive sheared on it, but they warranted it.
Yeah.
So
last year.
Now I have the brand new version.
Yeah. Yeah, they cover their shit. That's the other thing about Old Town is like they will be like, yeah, we'll cover it. They warranty the shit out of their stuff. Like, unless you did something stupid. If you tried to put that fucking trolling motor on there, rigged it up with a fucking plywood transom and cracked the hull or something, yeah, they're probably not going to cover that. But if it's just something happened to it, they're going to warranty it. It's crazy what they will warranty. But yeah, no, I'm in buyer's remorse of and it's funny. I love my kayak. Don't get me wrong. I fucking spent a lot of time on my Native. The platform itself is awesome. If the drive was not pissing me off as much as it has, I've gotten it somewhat dialed in now, where I haven't had to fuck with it too much. But as far as stability, I will say the Titan has a little bit more stability because of the weight. The way it's designed, the fucking way it's set up. But I will be going back to Old Town once I
would assume the Pro is more stable than your original.
It is. No, it's the Pro is more from what I've read, heard, seen, it's more stable, it's wider, it's slightly heavier, which a lot of people are like, that's the thing I find funny too, is guys are like, oh wow, that kayak's too heavy. You want it to be heavy. That's where some of your stability comes from.
Yeah.
It's as long as it's heavy in the right spots. Yeah, the weight capacity of it's fucking ridiculous too. That Old Town, I'm looking at it right now. The Old Town Pro's weight capacity is 565 pounds. Capacity. That's a fucking lot of weight for a kayak to hold.
You're not going to get. So the only thing you're going to get that's going to come close to that would be my Blue Sky, which is a 500, and then the Bonafide's freaking XTR, which is 700 or 750 or something like that.
Yeah. The dimensions of it is what I liked about it was it's there. So what they did is they made the gunnels narrower. So they didn't really make the kayak wider. They narrowed up the gunnels a little bit to give you more cockpit space. So you actually have space on either side of the seat. So the original Old Town design, your seat was right to the edge of the inside of the cockpit area. With the Pro, they gave you space on either side of the seat, which is useful for a lot of things. They also added those power port they call e-ports or whatever the hell they call for wiring. They added some of those throughout the kayak so you can actually run wires. It's just little touches. It's shit that like if you were to take a survey and say, what do you not like about your Old Town Sportsman? They just took all that feedback and made a new model.
Yeah. And that's good.
So,
you know,
so what
Old
Chris
Town's
is going to
always
get this year.
been good at for, you know, listening to
The thing is, they haven't changed their kayak design in that. So the Old Town Sportsman, the freshwater version, is the ocean kayak that they rebranded and brought back the Old Town name because people weren't buying the ocean kayak because they thought it was only for saltwater. And they haven't redesigned that thing since the original Predator, like what Chris has.
Yeah, the Big Water 132 is the same exact hull as my Predator.
Yeah, they haven't changed it. The only thing they've done is they've gone from top water to Sportsman, which had a slightly different seat. But they didn't change the hull at all.
What's
this one they changed the hull. They actually modified. It's so it's the actual official name is the Sportsman PDL 120 Pro. Like I said, if you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, that's an Old Town. Yeah. Here for
yeah. You can look at it and be like, they could strip the entire name off of every part of it, and you'd be like, yeah, that's an Old Town.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, it's an Old Town. But what they did is, if you see, like,
you know what that thing that reminds me of the so with Jackson, basically what they did when they made the NAR, they took the big rig, essentially thinned the gunnels out, kind of like what old you know Town did here.
That's what they did. So if you look at that, you'll see how like
so much room, and I can see that there's and I could see that there's actually rod tubes down there, horizontal rod tubes, which I've never seen on an Old Town, which
they don't have
pretty sweet.
And they made that pillar that goes behind the seat. You basically going to set your rod on that, so you don't have to have like a janky thing that hangs off. And they added this because they never had track in the back. And thank God they got away from that stupid yak track shit and they went with an aluminum track like everybody else has. So they got rid of that stupid plastic track. That's the only thing I will say that I hated about it was, I know Chris had the same thoughts I did, is that the old freaking plastic track that they put on the original Old Town, like it flexed. It didn't really hold up that great.
Yeah, I mounted aluminum T-track.
Yeah, that boat's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so I mean it's the same.
What's the weight
PDL
on
hasn't changed. At 130. But 12-foot boat. So I mean it's about the same as my native.
I mean
it's about
it's freaking heavy. It is heavy, but it's not like it's still lighter.
No, and see the thing is what they did. So they added like this. So like this is one of those e-port things. So you have like a place for wiring. Yeah. They have a through hole, like a Yak Attack through hole back here.
Yep.
And I think there's one up here, right here.
Yeah.
So you have motor port, so you have power for your motors or whatever.
See,
they made this area bigger, so you can put a big black pack and battery and shit in here.
Hey boys, I'm gonna lose you. I'm gonna sign out.
I kind of want to see.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll talk to you all. Okay.
Sorry. We'll be back next week. No, you're good, dude.
I'd like a kayak that is basically set up to accept essentially Guardian Angel stuff. Wiring if they don't want to.
I think FluxJet's going to change the market because the fact that they're coming pre-wired, I think you're going to start seeing at least like lights and ports for motors are going to start coming pre-wired. I think you're going to start seeing kayaks that do that because FluxJet built that in, and it's gonna sell a lot of units because people don't want to do it themselves. You know, I will say the one thing I hate about my Native and I used to hate about my Old Town is this rudder style.
Yeah.
The flip down rudder does kind of suck, but what is nice about it is when you get shallow, like with my Native, I'm dragging my rudder in the fucking dirt every time I load my kayak.
Yeah. Also, I don't see a spot where you could mount a rear trolling motor.
You have to get creative.
Like, I don't see the. Yeah, you definitely do because I see two spots where your anchors. I mean, yeah, you could put a stern motor there, but that's going to throw your freaking. That's going to throw you off a little bit.
So what a lot of guys do is they run a bracket across this. Because the problem is with this style of rudder, you can't put it dead center because of that. So they run a bracket.
No, you just remove the rudder and.
Yep. You'd have to do like a Newport or that style that has like actual fins on it that you could then use it as a rudder when you're pedaling. They do have a mount up here. True. They have a motor mount up here that's reinforced for a front mount, bow mount, but it's not designed for a rear mount really. Mm-hmm. That's the only catch with it.
Not a terrible price either.
No, so you got to think like it's not much more than the 120 regular. And you get a lot of little things that like the track on the outside instead of in the middle, the narrower gunnels, the wiring ports. Old Town seat's pretty comfortable. I can vouch for their seat is pretty solid. They have just enough touches. I will say I'm not a big fan of this style, like these hatches.
Yeah.
Because I don't care.
I feel like
how good you seal that thing, it takes on water.
Yeah. You almost feel like the back end should be pretty high, not very high up, but raised up enough where you're not going to have a problem with that. Or make it so that you have a front hatch.
Yeah, so what they did is Native did the same thing. So Native did this in their first round of Titans, and the fucking they had the steering rotator, whatever thing back here, and it was taking on water because in my Titan they actually raised this part up so that it doesn't take on water because this will take like a full size black pack in here.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
but
I'm pretty stoked because
that's something that I'm
Black Pusa X is going to be on its way soon.
Nice.
I'll have to send once that gets in. I'll have to send you guys pictures.
Dude, I see. That's the thing. It's really I don't know how to explain this any other way than like people are like, oh, he hates his Native. That's not really true. I love the kayak. The bones of that kayak are great. I got a shitty drive that I don't know if it's just the drive or if it's just how the drives are or if it's just because I spent 4 years with another drive, so I'm just not used to it. I fished some.
I don't know. It sounds to me like if you're having to grease it all the time. Yeah. If you're having to grease it all the time, it sounds to me like you got a crap drive.
Yeah, I think I got like a defective drive or something, but for me it was just I got a kayak because I don't want to fucking do maintenance.
Yep.
That was the whole reason of getting a kayak, was because my boat was down and I didn't want to have to fucking constantly fix it. And when I'm having to constantly fix my freaking kayak, it defeats the purpose of having a kayak for me at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's why I decided to go away from the Blue Sky. I mean, I'm still going to run it for some tournaments here and there, but generally speaking, I was like, when I got caught out on freaking Newark Pond, like the only reason that I was able to get back after my battery died was because I had basically had the wind and waves somewhat in my favor, but it was still a pain in the ass.
Right.
And that boat is not easy to paddle. So I think I'm going to downgrade, not necessarily downgrade, but I'm going to, make things a little more compact, easy to paddle. And yes, eventually I'll put a motor on the Kusa, but I'm just basically going to paddling.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is like, that's one thing about my Titan. You can paddle it. You can. You're going to be sore as fucking hate life after you're done paddling it. But it's an option.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted something smaller, a little more compact, easy to control and maneuver, and something that I could use in multiple locations, like because eventually I'd like to be on the Bass Kayak Tour, and I know they do a lot of rivers. They're doing the Susky again this year in August.
Yeah, they're just doing a different launch, right? They're doing a different area.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly. Actually, hang on. They might have it on there. Yeah, I think if you look it up on the Bassmaster site. Oh, I forget. It's somewhere in South Central PA. Can't remember the name of the town off the top of my head.
Okay.
But
yeah, we're going on 9:00, and unfortunately, I have to be a working professional again. I'm no longer in unemployment, so I was basically unemployed all last week, guys. If you won't get the joke because you guys weren't in our group chat and get to see all the information, but essentially, last week I was basically ice fishing all week, and this week I'm finally back to work, so I'm still trying to transition into. Look, guys, I'm wearing a collared shirt. I have to wear grown-up clothes now.
Oh,
so, but
he's
probably gonna have to get to bed.
Put his big boy pants on.
Yeah, I gotta be a grown-up
yep.
now. We will be back next week.
Yeah,
we're gonna be doing this weekly again. I'm going to hopefully, so next week we were supposed to have a special guest on this episode, but he's kind of busy and doing some stuff down in Florida. But Fish Up North, if you guys have seen his YouTube, if you haven't, go check it out. I was actually fishing with him and going to be doing some more content with him soon. But he's actually going to Canada ice fishing this weekend up on Ontario, doing some big boy ice fishing. So I'm going to have him come on next week and talk about his trip. And he's actually down in Florida right now fishing. So he's got a lot of cool content and actually doing some real fishing, unlike us that are just kind of doing for me, just sitting on a lake and trying not to get attacked by ice quakes. And Jesse's kind of doing the whole waiting for something to melt.
Sitting on my ass watching fish it. Yep. Sitting on my ass watching freaking fishing videos and studying and shit.
Watching YouTube. Yeah, that's a lot of what I do this time of year too. When I'm not making YouTube, I'm watching YouTube. So But yeah, guys, we're gonna probably roll out of here right now because, well, honestly, I got to get to bed. So we will be back next Wednesday with more information and more talking and more rambling and hopefully slightly better internet so Jesse can actually hear me. So, but